Alright, so I wanted to make some videos about the twins and my pregnancy and all of that. So I found out I was pregnant on like September 24th. Yeah. So I found out I was pregnant on September 26th or 24th or somewhere in between there in 2018. So funny story, one of my friends at work, she was late. I ain't gonna say no names. She was late, and I wasn't even late. So she had asked me, I was going to the dollar store with one of my other coworkers, and she had asked me to get her a pregnancy test. So I'm like, oh yeah, this would be fun. Like, we can all take pregnancy tests, right? Okay. So we get back to work. I give her her test, and then I go in the bathroom and I take the test. You know, jokey joke, didn't think it was going to be anything. And so I peed on it, and instantly the line had popped up. So I'm like freaking out, like there's no way I can be pregnant. Like, come on. Okay, I just want to point out that it was a joke. We all thought it was funny, and we play like that sometimes. Joke was on me because I was pregnant. I must have been really, the hormones must have been multiplying really fast, because at that point I had to only be like 4 weeks pregnant, and like 4 to 5 weeks pregnant. A week later I started having the worst morning sickness ever. Vomiting all times a day. It was the worst. So I had made a doctor's appointment when I found out that I was pregnant. I didn't tell Tyshawn right away because he was in school, and I think it was like midterm time or something. He was preparing for some type of test, so I didn't want to stress him out, so I didn't tell him. But I had made I attempted to make a doctor's appointment. Nowadays, for whatever reason, some doctor's office require that you're not showing your missed period, based on your missed period, that you would be 8 weeks before they bring you in, because they're doing ultrasound. So I was like, forget that, I'm just gonna go back to my regular OB where I deliver at TJ and get a exam, because I was so sick. Like, it was horrible. And I mean, in hindsight, being sick is a good thing, because that means your hormones are multiplying. But I was so sick, so I made an appointment. I'm looking down at my phone just to go back and see. So I made an appointment. Me and Tyshawn went on October 12th for the initial appointment and ultrasound. So during the ultrasound, she was taking a really long time. Like, I remember when I was pregnant with TJ, I think the first ultrasound was 20 minutes, max 30 minutes. We had been there in the ultrasound room for about an hour and a half. So, and she wasn't talking. So I was like, something must be wrong, or there's more than one. So she finally, you know, started to talk. Like, she didn't talk the whole time. She finally started to talk. And when she started to talk, we talked about Halloween costumes, about her kids and, you know, our kids. And she said, next year you'll be buying 3 costumes instead of 1. And I'm like, I didn't catch it, honestly. Trey's sitting in his little chair on the table. I didn't catch it at first, honestly. I just was like, maybe she said it wrong or something. I don't know. It went over my head. Tyshawn caught it immediately. So he's all happy. She turns the thing around and she's like, you're having twins. And he's clapping. I'm like, nah.
She's definitely playing.
But then she flipped the camera around and you can see that there were 2 little peanuts, whatever they are, little babies in there, little embryos. I don't know if it's embryos, I don't know. So I can't say that I wasn't excited, but I just was like, wow, like I was in shock. And I'm like,
okay, you see both weapons?
oh my goodness, I am going to scream. I'm trying not to. I really am. Wow. So we saw the doctor afterwards. Everything looked fine, but for some reason he told us to come back for another ultrasound in a week. From there, I got weekly ultrasounds. So from October 12th, I got a weekly ultrasound up until November 2nd. And that was the first red flag that something was going on. Nothing bad, but something was going on. So finally at the November 2nd appointment, I finally asked. And I just thought that it was normal for twins, but then when I figured out that it wasn't normal to have weekly scans, I was confused. So I asked him, why do you keep having me coming back for ultrasounds? And he explained the type of twins, which are di-di, which are fraternal twins, mono-di, which are twins that share the same placenta but are in different sacs, and then mono-mono, which are twins that share the same sac and the same placenta. So they were looking for a membrane to show that they were to show that they were in separate sacs. I'll insert a picture of what a mono-di, no, I'll insert a clip of my ultrasound picture with the membrane, and then a sample of what a mono-mono or momo ultrasound looks like without the membrane, and then what it looks like for a di-di pregnancy, because you can see the membrane clearly, like they're in two complete different sacs. So I'll insert that for you guys to see.
Okay, so you can see the line in between Trey and Jeremiah, which is very thin in mono-di pregnancies. That's how the membrane is, and then they share the same placenta. Versus a di-di pregnancy, which is fraternal twins, you can clearly see that they are in separate sacs, like it's prominent, their membrane. And then in a momo pregnancy, you can see the membrane actually around the two babies because they are in the same sac and they're really close together.
So di-di obviously is the least risky pregnancy for twins, and then mono-di would be medium risk, as they would say, which I think is high risk anyway. And then mono-mono would be, or momo would be, the highest risk. So that's what they were looking for on November 2nd, and I'll insert a clip. They found the membrane. You can clearly see the membrane. And they told me that I needed to schedule an appointment for a maternal fetal specialist because of, you know, your high risk. And he basically, he just said schedule the appointment. Like, he didn't really go into details. So when I left that appointment, when they finally confirmed they were mono-di, I immediately started to Google, like, why is it, you know, risky to have a mono-di pregnancy, blah blah. So there was like a couple of things that were alarming. Twin-to-twin transfusion and TAPS, I think it is, for twins, which that'd be a different video, but I'm just going to talk about the entire pregnancy. So I made the appointment. I finally got an appointment for November 30th to see the high-risk pregnancy, was the maternal fetal doctor.
Alright guys, that is the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, if you can share this video to bring awareness to prematurity, that would be greatly appreciated. I will be posting part 2 of the pregnancy journey on Thursday, so stay tuned for that.